First to our top story, and on Tuesday, the UK government is expected to unveil a new bill on migrants who illegally enter the country via small boats. Well, according to reports, the new bill will ensure detention and swift deportation of asylum seekers. They will be banned from future re-entry, and they also can't apply for British citizenship under the new legislation. Well, last year, a record 45,000 migrants arrived in the UK via small boats, and the pressure has mounted on the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak to tackle the situation. The UK government also intends to send some deportees to Rwanda, but the plan was never applied after it faced legal challenges. Earlier, the UK Home Secretary Suella Braverman defended the new legislation ahead of the general elections. The UK Prime Minister Sunak has made stopping the boats a flagship pledge. However, refugee rights activists are concerned over the new bill, as they believe it will lead to inhumane and costly detention of tens of thousands of refugees. According to government figures, in 2022, more than 45,000 migrants crossed the English Channel to the UK. The same figures suggest that more than 2,900 migrants have already crossed the Channel this year. And the migrants, they range from countries from Albania, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan and Syria. Well, for more now, our London correspondent Alex Isaac is joining us to tell us more about the situation. Alex, good to see you. What's the latest update, and how are the refugee activists, how are they reacting to the latest announcement?
Well, we don't know exactly the ins and outs of what this illegal migration bill will cover. However, we do know that their Rwanda plan that was meant to be going ahead has not yet deported any individuals. And it does feel like this is just another one of those sayings rather than doings, and a lot of people will be trying to figure out exactly what is this going to be for, because Rishi Sunak, as you rightly said, has promised it to be one of his 5 major priorities to stop these boats coming over illegally and helping those refugees that actually do need help by entering the country in a safe way. However, a lot of those charities and companies that are trying to help refugees say it's been very difficult to try and get those legal crossings and to get people into the country, despite the UK having an open door policy for all those places like Afghanistan and Syria, and also if British passport holders of Hong Kong too, who are supposedly allowed to come over legally. At the moment, they have been suggesting, the charities suggested that it's been a vindictive approach by the government to try and kick out people who are desperate and trying to get over here as well. But what we also do think about the illegal migration bill is going to be mentioned as well. It's not just going to be about the refugees, it's also going to be trying to change some of that backlog of those that are in the country illegally already in some of those hotels and places that they've been put up around the UK, which is not doing very well for the voters. Voters aren't happy that there are hundreds and thousands of migrants being put up in hotels close to where they're living. So this bill should be able to move that forward. And we're expecting to see that any kind of an action plan would be, as I said, mention the asylum, but also helping with modern slavery laws. The UK has voted to try and get away from the EU human rights and try and start its own bill there. So what we might see within this illegal migration bill is a discussion about modern slavery, what will happen to those that have been experiencing it, what evidence will be needed to go forward, and hopefully do a bit of a change to the way that the country develops. But right now we are still waiting for more specific details on what the bill will offer, really, and that will happen potentially by Tuesday, and then it will have to go through the House of Lords. So there's still many opportunities for it to be stopped along the way. But then many people thought the Rwanda plan would be, and that eventually did get through. But again, that has yet to show any promise.
Yeah, quite right. We've not seen that come to fruition just yet. Alex Isaac, thank you so much across that story for us today. Such a divisive topic here in the UK. Well, for more analysis on this now, Bazine Wagner is joining us now, a research fellow at the SOAS South Asia Institute, joining us live from London. A warm welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, as we were saying there, the Prime Minister of the UK, Rishi Sunak, he's made stopping the boats one of his top priorities? Does he now have to see this through?
Well, if the Prime Minister sees it through, it would be a clincher towards the elections. The Prime Minister and Home Secretary leave for Paris on Friday, the 10th of March, for a summit with President Macron to discuss this. And a good £63 million has been defrayed towards this for increasing the salaries of French officers and additional surveillance equipment. Please note that already we are in early March and 2,950 have crossed since the beginning of the year, 45,576 in 2022. There is a back waiting list of 160,000 applicants who are awaiting the decision, and 83% of these applications go back to 2018. The situation is disastrous, to say the least. The Rwanda plan could have gone through, and the High Court, it must be pointed out, upheld it as lawful. But of course, the sound waves were captured by a liberal left caucus of trade unions, ambulance-chasing human rights lawyers, charities and the like, who have obviously not let it go through. And they have it has been regrettable, to say the least, because this is a palpable, patent issue with all British voters, regardless of ethnicity, more so than the NHS as the health issue, recovery of the economy after the pandemic, so on and so forth. For one thing, to keep all these refugees here, there has been a plan mooted, and I'll just give you one patent example, that we could house them a good 60,000 in disused military barracks going back to the war years in the 40s. Well, these are disused and they have been, and are not exactly habitable. Even to get them up to basic living conditions would cost the Exchequer a good £219 million. We can't afford that, given how things just overall are with the cost of living crisis and other aspects. So what the government could do intelligently is this. The Prime Minister so far is resisting attempts to remove us from the ECHR, but he could bring in a break, that is, disapply parts of the ECHR to those who cross specifically in boats. That once they arrive here, there is a legal duty placed on the Home Secretary to remove them as soon as is practicable. So that would be, they'd be here for a good 28 days, if not more, definitely not more. And they would have to be removed to their home country, and they will not be allowed to claim asylum here, and they will be permanently banned from returning to the UK. And insofar as it is practical to do this, they may take their case to Strasbourg. It will not be heard in London. That needs to be put in place, and if that were to occur, we could turn a corner. But this has been a long-standing chronic issue, and it has been dissipated, but there is no appetite within the British electorate to put up with this.
Okay, thank you so much. Offering some real solutions there for us of what you've described there as a disastrous situation. So thank you for your thoughts. We appreciate that. As in Wagner there, a research fellow from the SOAS South Asia Institute.